This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into different band, different artists, and we break down one of their records. We get into the music, lyrics, how it was made, and everything in between. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube's, you smash that subscribe button. That's what the kids say, dude. And we are in prog season right now. So we're doing some great prog bands. So what are we doing today, Jeff? What album are we doing today? What band?
We're doing decent prog bands. It started off strong, and now we're just kind of going downhill from there. We're doing the Mars Volta and Francis the Mute's albums.
Yes. Francis the Mute by the Mars Volta. And yes, this is surely a downgrade from Supertramp that we did last week with Breakfast in America.
Take a look at my girlfriend.
Which is a prog light record. So, but yeah, Mars Volta, Francis the Mute. This is their second record from 2004, 5. Jesus Christ. Clocks in at 76 minutes and 55 seconds. Does not include the title track, Francis the Mute, which was left off of the record, released as a single only. And we're going to talk about that song too. We're going to break down that song. We're going to actually break down. It's going to be a little bit different of an episode. We're obviously going to get into our origin story, first impressions of this, and then we're going to go track by track. We're going to break down every song from Francis the Mute up through Cassandra, and it's going to be a doozy. We're going to talk about how it was made and all that stuff, like I said. So let's get into this origin story with the Mars Volta. If people don't already know, let's get into it. What do you got? Go.
I feel like we talked about this not that long ago. Why did we talk about this not that long ago?
Because we did the self-titled record in 2022.
No, we're talking like weeks, maybe months ago. We talked about origin story with the Mars Volta. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I feel like we talked about this. I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't remember when the Mars Volta hit my vernacular. I'm sure it was through you, but at some point, the Inertiatic Sun Lumiere Beauty and the Beast song was just like a staple in all playlists. Like that's how you open a fucking playlist, is with those two songs, which I wish they were back to back, or I wish they were one song. Because it would make the playlist thing easier instead of like breaking them apart. And then because I want to shuffle playlists sometimes, but I want to listen to that song first. But yeah, I don't remember how it happened. I just remember, yeah, it was through you for sure. There's no way.
Okay.
Otherwise.
Yeah, my origin story, it came through at the drive-in. I loved Relationship of Command when that came out in 2000. I was in 7th grade. Blew me away when that came out. And then the band broke up, and I knew that they broke up, and I remember thinking, oh, that sucks. But I didn't know about a new band that was created. I didn't know about De Facto. This is early internet. I had no fucking idea. And I was in 7th grade. I mean, come on. I had dial-up internet. Like, if I was allowed to get on the internet because people were on the phone, which was hard to get on the internet when you only had one phone line and it was tied up with somebody talking on it. It was difficult. Fucking crazy times 25 years ago. But so yeah, it was that, and then eventually I went to not even like a show that was put on by K-Rock back in fucking 2003, early 2003 maybe, and it was with Distillers and Distillers and Trapped. They played in front of a Best Buy store in Yorba Linda, and it was put on by K-Rock because those
That's
bands
crazy.
Those songs by those bands were being played on K-Rock at the time. It was being put on by K-Rock. Me, friend of the pod, Kyle, and I went, and we it was wild. It was like crazy fucking pit for Distillers. Trapped sucked, but we still liked that one song. And then they were giving out CD samplers of bands that were just popular at the time that were played on K-Rock, like 20 song compilations, and one of those songs was the Mars Volta, and it was Inertiatic ESP, but it was the full thing. It was a Sonnet Lumiere with Inertiatic, so it was the whole thing on one track, and that was my introduction to the band, was that compilation. And then when I found out like not too long after that, I found out that it was essentially at the drive-in. Blown away. I was like, this sounds nothing like At the Drive-In, and I was so impressed. I loved it, and I've loved the Mars Volta ever since. And we'll get into the Francis the Mute and where that goes into my timeline as well. But yeah, that's my origin story, is that K-Rock compilation at a Distillers and Trapped concert in a Best Buy parking lot.
In Yorba Linda.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Such a weird thing, but whatever. So there you go. Let's get into first impressions. We're doing Francis the Mute, second record from '05, like I said. Let's get into our first impressions of that record, and then we'll start breaking it down from there and just go. So what do you got? First impressions.
Yeah, this came out when we were still in high school, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're still in high school. And not like I followed him like super closely, the Mars Volta or whatever, but you did. And so every album that they ever put out, subsequently, I listened to every album they ever put out because you listened to it. And I've liked this since the first time I heard it. Like I enjoyed. A lot of it is definitely going to be because of the Latin influence, a lot of the cumbias, a lot of the salsa aspects of it. That's what draws me in more than anything else. But I like it more this week than I ever have. Like diving into the lyrics and the lore and
it's so good.
Like the loose story, right? There's a story there, but like maybe the story's not actually there because Cedric likes to be like, "Oh yeah, that's what it's about," but then like that's not what it's about. So
I know, guys. So
you know,
such an obnoxious person to be in a band.
But that's what's cool when you write lyrics that make no fucking sense, is they can mean anything you want them to mean when it's convenient for you.
Yes.
Or the touring schedule. But yeah, that's my first impression. I love this when it first came out.
Yeah,
this has long been like my favorite Mars Volta record. I think it's always ranked like number 1, maybe number 2, behind like the Loust if I'm feeling frisky. But I love this.
I love it too. Yeah, I mean, I heard this record originally from friend of the pod Sean and his stepbrother Brian. Brian was a couple years older than us. And he loved the Mars Volta, and him and I used to talk about the Mars Volta all the time. And he was like, "Have you heard their new record?" And I said, "No, I had no idea they put out a new album." He's like, "Well, it's not out yet. It leaked." And it was just like 3 months before Francis came out. And he's like, "I'll burn you a CD." So he burned me the CD, and it was Francis, and it was only the 6 tracks. Like, so Cassandra was 32 minutes long. So that one track was 32 minutes long, and it was only that. And I just remember, my mind was blown. I thought, this sounds nothing like Delouse. Like this is next level. I was never into prog music in high school. I didn't even know what prog music was outside of Rush. I had no idea what prog music was. And this is like the first true exposure to prog music I had ever had, outside of the pop hits of Rush. And just being blown away by it and just being obsessed with Cygnus and La Via. Those 2 songs just absolutely, I couldn't stop listening to those 2 songs. And then of course Cassandra, but Cassandra is it's overwhelming, especially when you don't understand what this kind of music is. Yeah. Cassandra is so overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
So I would skip it a lot because I didn't get it at the time, but obviously as time progressed, I loved it. And this is also when I joined the Comatorium, which we'll talk about. I know we'll talk about on this episode. I brought it up on the rankings. But the Comatorium was a forum, a fan forum of the band that started, I think, in '03, and yeah, it was just the greatest. It was the greatest forum online ever, and people were pretentious and idiots, but it was like the best place to find Mars Volta news and behind the scenes stuff, get the leaks of all their records pretty much. It was just the greatest place to be, and then it unfortunately shut down in the late 2010s for various reasons. It was shut down. And so I signed up for the Comatorium in '05, and just been in love with this band ever since. And I love Francis the Mute. So that's my origin story. I've loved it from the very beginning. Just nothing I've ever heard before prior to that. And so let's get into this. Obviously, we're gonna go track by track, starting with Francis the Mute. But we're also gonna throw in, between some songs, we'll throw in some facts about the record, the artwork, and things like that, because we've got to break it up a little bit between some of the songs. So let's jump into Francis the Mute, the title track. So I got a lot of notes.
There's so fucking much. And we
know.
both had talked about how much notes we had written, and I still think we could even go even probably twice as long as what we're going to go to, because even like the deep Reddit threads of people writing like senior theses or dissertations on this record specifically is fucking wild.
So we're not gonna spend 3 hours on this. We're not gonna go into the crazy theories, and we're give a good solid synopsis, the best we can.
Best
So
we can.
crazy Mars Volta fans out there, just enjoy yourself. Just smoke a little bit of weed, drink some,
Like a little bit of weed.
yeah, just have some fun, and listen
weed,
to us.
smoke some whiskey, call it a day.
Yes, exactly. So we're gonna start with the title track, "Francis the Mute," left off of the record for time constraints. This track is 14 minutes and 39 seconds. The first 4 minutes and 30 seconds of the song is really just noise. It's just like, who gives a fuck? You can cut this out. I do have the single on vinyl. I know you. Pretty sure you do too, right?
I used
Or did
to.
you get rid of it?
I think I got rid of
Okay.
it. I should not have got rid of it though.
Yeah. So got this one, and then at 4:30 in the song, that's when it really starts. Big drum beat, disjointed, tense-filled guitars, and Cedric, which is like a killer vocal section, and just great stereo usage of the background vocals, just going back and forth. I mean, it's just fantastic, man.
Yeah.
You get a good 3 minutes of that.
Yeah,
2.5 minutes.
This is left off the record. I think sequentially, the only thing that's weird for me is the widow. That's the one that if we're following the story that we're told, that everybody kind of agrees is probably the main story. The widow's the only one that I think is kind of weird and out of place. This would have been better on there, but I understand why the widow is there in place of this, because the widow is easier to digest, right? It's radio friendly. It's fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
You get it. So I understand it. But I don't know. Also, supposedly too, you can line up this song with the record. This was weird. I don't know if you saw this, but you can line up if you play. Let's say you have two fucking tape players. Player. Who the fuck is a tape player? So you have two tape players, and you start this thing. I think at the 13-second mark or some shit like that. And then you start Francis the Mute, the regular record. This will play on loop as this one is going, and they'll end at the same exact time. And some of the stuff that they'll talk about, this is like that fucking Dark Side of the Moon, Wizard of Oz thing.
Yeah.
But there's times where like Cedric will say a word like 3, and then on this thing it'll be the third time it's been played. I don't know. I was like, dude, this is crazy. This is the first song.
No way.
This is but so many people on Reddit too are like, oh yeah, I've done it multiple times. Of course it does. And okay, obviously that's just happenstance. At best, and why start at 13 seconds? Because 13 is the number of the devil, right? That's crazy, 13. So this is the first track that's on the record, and that's already the lore we're getting into here, which is fucking wild. Anyway, the song is also supposed to be part of an overall loop, which ties into the theme as well, the story that's going on here, the shit that happens over and over and over again. But the loop, if you played this through to the end, and then obviously this is not on the record, but then it would loop back into this and be this continual thing that you could play forever and never understand where the beginning or the end is. But yeah, so it's broken up into three parts here?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, three parts, 13 seconds the first, 19 sync, and then 5 would grow. So yeah, 13 seconds, that goes until 7.5 minutes. And much of this beginning is just ringing bells. But almost like you hear in church, right? You're ringing church bells, they're doing the little things in church. I've been to a lot of churches, and I've never seen anybody ring a bell. I went to a Catholic church, though, but no one ever rang bells in the churches I went to. So I always thought that was kind of weird. But they're distorted. They're kind of weird. They're unpleasant to listen to. So it's kind of you're already kind of uneasy. It's okay, I feel safe, but also I feel kind of on edge. And when it does drop into the music portion, it's fucking wild. Cedric he delivers these lines as if he's telling us a story, but then also it could be sickness, remembering, or doing this inner monologue thing and forgetting into the lore a bit. I think a lot of my notes too will kind of interweave the music with what I think is happening with the lore and the story. So I'm going to do that. So this essentially, this part, 13 seconds, essentially like the prequel, also the 13 seconds too. And I mentioned earlier the 13 seconds, if you start this, why is this first part called 13 seconds? Because if you start at 13 seconds into the song, it coincides with the Francis the Mute record. It's wild. But this is the prequel to the story, right? A little backstory here, a little back lore. This is that's when Robin Williams is the little traitor in the beginning part of the Aladdin movie, just kind of setting the stage. In fair Verona where we lay our scene, right? Kind of this Shakespearean thing. That's what's going on here. You want to take it bit by bit?
Yeah,
let's keep talking until you want to jump in. What do you? Okay,
yeah.
And then
keep going.
that's what I had for 13 seconds, and then man, I don't even know because I wrote the lyrics after too and before.
I wrote. I did all the lyrics after I did the music. After,
but
I
then
broke
sometimes
down all
I
the
did it
music
while
parts.
I was doing the music too. So
Okay, so I didn't
some
do
songs
that.
are
I didn't do
some
that.
songs are like 1 and 1, and then some songs are like. This is one that's 1 and 1. 19 sank
Okay.
while 6 could swim. That's 7.5 minutes to like 11 minutes. Second part, more somber, more chill. But I think
Yes.
like this is the story of the murder of Francis, right?
Mhm.
And Francis is the main.
Well, not the protagonist. But the
Yeah, it's
Because
the
the
main
protagonist-
drive of the protagonist, right?
Yeah. The protagonist is Cygnus. His mother Frances, Frances the Mute, and then his grandmother Miranda is also mentioned. You know, she has a song on this record, and then the aunt Livia is mentioned in a song, and they're all related. And let's just kind of preface this too. So at least my understanding of what people's interpretation of the record, and I generally agree with it, is that Cygnus was abandoned. He was adopted, and he wanted to go find his parents, his background, and where he came from. And we'll get into the details of it as he goes along. But that's where it all starts. It's him looking for his family, his background, and
Yeah,
it gets dark. It gets dark,
That's-
fucking dark.
that's definitely like the one line synopsis of the entire record for sure.
Yeah.
This kid's abandoned and wants to find his history. Like that's it. But yeah, 19 sank while 6 could swim. This is just soaked with acoustic guitars, ambient noise, just dead air, still air. And I think this is like the story of the murder of Francis, right? It's fucking sad. It's tragic. It's weird. It's very unsettling. It makes you feel uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable.
You're talking about the second half of the song, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
7.5 to 11. The 19 sank. Well,
Yeah,
6 could
because
swim.
it's the way. It's also the way that it's like you said, a lot of dead air. It's just the acoustic guitar, and then the way Cedric is singing. It's like they turned up the gain super high on his vocals, and it's just like he's whispering. It's like it's like the what's it called, the fucking that's popular with the, not the mukbang, but what am I trying to say here?
Like the vocal fry people, like
No,
the ASMR thing. That's what
ASMR.
it is.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. It's like very ASMR the way he's whispering, but you can hear every little like click and mouth sound that he makes, and it's eerie. It's unnerving. It's tense, and then eventually, then it drops into a big fucking beat from John Theodore, which is the drummer, and just a weird syncopated beat, and it's uncomfortable. It's tense. That's so many lines you got there. But that's another thing too. It's eerie. It's creepy. It's gross, and then it drops into this weird kind of uncomfortable beat led by John, syncopated beat from John, where everybody just kind of plays along to the beat really well. A guitar line, bass line, playing off of each other, and then it eventually explodes into some giant big guitars, and Cedric just doing his thing. Same with Ike. Ike's like the unsung hero on this record too. The entire record, he adds so much depth to this fucking record.
Oh, for sure. There's so much dead air on this record, and it's purposeful. But when he fills up that space, it's even more purposeful. It creates a layer and a depth that's fucking weird, man. It makes you feel. And I think this is one of the records too. Like, you really gotta. I know it's a whole joke thing. I like when I watch a scary movie, I turn the lights off. I don't like to be bothered. I want to get into it. I don't want the dogs running around. I want the kids running in there. That's how I get scared. Otherwise, like, where the fuck even watch it, dude? So, like, listening to a record like this, and I did this with Cans and Ambidextrous too. I did with Cans on.
Noise.
And this is one that, like, it's kind of frightening at times. It is kind of frightening at times, especially knowing that the lore. And I listened to Cans Sunday, so I already did most of my notes in regards to like the lore and the story and everything. So I was just kind of like feeling, okay, this is the part where this is happening, or this is the part where Cygnus is feeling this, or whatever. But like the second part, 19 Sank, Omar's guitars take the backseat, take a quiet backseat. Mm-hmm. He lets the song just fill out with silence and like reflection. It's weird. And Omar does a lot on this record, and he makes a lot of fucking noise. And sometimes, I say all the time, it's exactly how he wants it to sound. But sometimes I'm like, dude, this is weird, man. Like, I don't know why you chose to do this. I like that you did this, but how the fuck did you, like, what went through your mind? I thought this was going to sound good.
Yeah.
And then getting to like the final piece, the part 3, the five would grow and 1 was dead. 11 minutes to the end, 14 and a half minutes. This is the final piece. Like I said, heavy, aggressive, frantic. The riffs are heavy, sort of melancholic, and the song loops like into Cygnus. And like lyrically, there's my lyrics last on this one. The song, I think the album is about Frances, this young girl who's in this church cult, gets impregnated by the priest, made rape, consensual. I don't fucking know. She's a hooker or not, whatever. I think that's kind of beside the point. She chooses not to abort Cygnus, this main character that we'll follow, but not quite the main character because we have asides that happen throughout. I know it's weird. But the church murders Frances. Livia, who is her sister, sees it happening. Miranda knows about the scandal. Like, lyrics themselves are almost like mostly ambiguous with a few parts here and there that show us what's going on. Like the ice pick that was plucked. Like the ice pick is a recurring theme that comes throughout the thing. Yeah. The album, the line, I'll never let them hurt you. I'll never let them in. What you took from me is mine. What is mine, I'll never give. I thought that was cool. It's just Frances is talking to like Cygnus in the womb, and it's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna die, but I'm just hoping that you're gonna do better. And I think that lays the foundation. God, I wish this track was on this record.
I know.
Because ultimately so this record is just like this fucking absolute tragedy, and spoilers, it's just, dude, this guy's life is fucking worthless. Cygnus's life means absolutely nothing. He grows up, he was born nothing, he lives nothing, and he dies nothing. And it's cool to see him go through it and realize it on his own in fucking real time through music. Is fucking wild.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So and this
Frances
is, and honestly, Frances the Mute, like if you look at it in the context of the story and the record itself, it sits as a prologue. Honestly, it sits as a prologue for the entire story, which I mean is also perfect, leaving it off of the actual record too, because prologues are great. Like in a book, prologues are great.
Sure.
But I mean they're not really kind of part of the story. They're just, it's more background for what you're expecting.
It's for people that are too pussy to say, you know what, this is chapter 1.
I mean, yes, honestly.
Chapter 1.
So I mean, I think this is a perfect prologue to the whole story and to the record itself, because the song has every bit of what you're gonna hear on the record. It has the spastic stuff, it has the weird grooves, it has the soundscapes, the nuances that you hear all over the record, but all, encompassed into 14 minutes, which is fantastic. So this song is incredible, and so are we good with this song, and then we should jump into the record?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with the song.
Okay. So before we jump into the record, though, I do want to say that the record was named after this specific song. Originally, the record was going to be called Sarcophagus, and then after they realized, they decided, let's keep the song off of it for time constraints. They decided to name the record Frances the Mute, which makes more sense. Honestly, it makes more sense.
Such a better fucking name.
Way better than Sarcophagus. Yes. And the record was also based off of former member and best friend of Omar and Cedric's, Jeremy Michael Ward. He was the sound manipulator. He did a lot for the band, musically, lyrically, inspiration wise. Also, he was in De Facto, and he was crazy, but he did overdose on heroin shortly after Deloused came out, and this record is dedicated to him and also inspired by him. So he was also adopted when he was very, very young. Never knew his parents. He was always on the search for his parents, but I don't think he ever found them. But he was also a repo man, and the story goes that he had some car and he found a diary within this car and in the diary he was reading it, and it was of some guy who was in the same position as Jeremy, where he was adopted, looking for his parents, and the story was very crazy within the diary. And at some point Jeremy was writing he was writing like consistencies between his and this guy in the diary's life, and just how things were lining up, and it was just kind of weird and bizarre. and that's really the inspiration for this record, musically and especially lyrically, theme wise, thematically. That's what this record is based off of, is Jeremy Ward's, the diary that Jeremy Ward found, and his passing.
Which like in passing, right? Like, oh, obviously you're adopted, so therefore if you find an adopted person's diary, it's of course it's going to be similar, right? Like, obviously. But the chances of a fucking guy who's adopted finding a diary of a guy who also was adopted, that's fucking wild, dude.
It is weird. Yeah.
If it's true. But that's a wild coincidence.
Yeah. And this is also technically the second record that they've put out that has been inspired and based off of a friend who died. I mean, De Laust was based off of not Ralph Jasso.
There's been a lot of death in the the drive-in family.
Yeah. Fuck. What was Julio Venegas? That's who De Laust was based off of.
And, right?
And he died in 1996 or 90s. He committed suicide. He jumped off the Interstate 10 freeway in Texas and killed himself. 96 or 97. And they based that record off of him and his struggles, and in the form of the character Serpentax, which we got into on that De Laust episode back in 2021. So go check it out. But anyway, back to Francis the Mute. Let's get into Cygnus. Vismon Cygnus. This track is 13 minutes and 2 seconds long. So
Bond.
Let's get
James
into
Bond.
it. What do you got on this one?
That's obviously what that's alluding to, right?
Yeah,
Cygnus.
I think so.
Vismic Cygnus. Just like a little funny pun on James Bond. Yeah, so 1, 2, was it 3, 4 parts, right? Yeah, 4 parts.
Yeah,
Sarcophagi,
4 parts.
umbilical, blah, 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 blah.
Facilius, and then Consafo.
Fusili Jerry. Sarcophagi, that's just the setting the stage here. It's laying the scene, again, like in our fair Verona from Romeo and Juliet, which you hate. But yeah, I think like lyrically, right, this is like whatever. There's not really much here. It's just the start of the story. He's thinking about where he comes from. I'm talking about Cygnus. The song's called Cygnus, so it's about Cygnus, our hero, our tragic hero, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He's thinking about where he comes from, just thinking about life in general, like the MXPX record. Just kind of like thinking about like who he is as a person, which will come like full circle later on.
Yeah.
We get to umbilical syllables. See, the fucking alliteration there's wild too. 45 to like 3.5 minutes. This is the morgue scene, supposedly. I didn't really get a whole lot of the morgue thing too, but like it flows with the story well. I get it, so I'll run with it. Everything's wild and upsetting here, like musically. Omar's just going fucking ham on the leads. Dude. Everything's just like boom, 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 right? Like lights are flashing. Like imagine you go to a morgue, right? They're pulling bodies out of those little fucking things, and it's just like stimulation overload.
Especially when you're not normally in that type of scene, that type of thing, and you're just seeing things you've never seen before in your life. It's terrified, and it's crazy.
And you can see a million dead bodies on TV, right? But like I think I've only seen one in real life, and it's still like whoa,
it's scary. It's
a shit you don't forget. You know what I mean? Like you can't unsee it. And the whole time, dude, Juan's just throwing down like these quick, tight little fucking shuffle beats. Really, like what he's doing, like he's just throwing down these quick little tight fucking riffs, and it's cool. It gives a song like a sense of urgency. Like, dude, I want to get the fuck out of here. And that little lead riff Omar starts at like the 2.5 minute mark is fucking rad. Just a good amount of like Hendrix blended in it with that wah. Perfect. It
is. Yeah. So I mean, the first 44 seconds, just acoustic guitars, the vocals, solid build. Just getting you prepared for the record. And honestly, the record is essentially a loop, which we'll get into at the end of Cassandra. But so we get that, and then umbilical syllables comes in, right after that, and it's the drop. It's the chaotic guitars. It's also John Theodore, the drummer, hitting those China, the kind of the offbeat China crashes, or it's like the trash pile that he used to have of like broken cymbals. He was also known for doing that a lot, which is so fucking sick. But his beat, his weird kind of beat going off with Omar's crazy guitar line and Juan's bass playing, and it's just it's chaos, but in the best fucking way. So real quick, just going through the band members on this record, so people don't get confused. Omar on guitar, Cedric on vocals, Juan Alderete on bass, John Theodore on drums, Ike Owens on keys, and then Adrian Terrazas Gonzalez played sax and flute on parts of the record. And then Flea played trumpet on a couple songs. So there you go. Those are the names to remember going forward. But yeah, umbilical syllables, incredible. And then we get into Facilius Descensus Averne. This is one that I wrote lyrics for as we go through the parts. Okay. Then what do you got?
Okay.
I like your story. You're telling the story well. I like it. I'm digging it. So keep going.
This is I read some guy's college fucking paper on
Did you
this
really? No,
shit.
you did not.
I swear to you, I did. So
I did not get
stupid.
that. I did not get that deep. Holy
my
shit.
god! And his was a lot. It was I think it was like 35 pages or some shit. But he took it like line by line, and most of the time the line by line thing, it was a reach. So I kind of just condensed it all down.
Wait, you read all 35
this.
pages? You did not.
I skimmed.
Okay.
But yeah, I got through. I for sure read the intro. I read the conclusion, and I read the first 4 pages and the last 4 pages, and then I read stuff that I thought was the most interesting. I read way too much. That's the point of it is. Way too much over a story that probably doesn't even exist.
Yeah,
probably it's a story that probably doesn't even
interpretation.
exist. Yeah, so this like we said about the morgue thing, it's Cygnus going into the morgue looking for his parents. How he ended up in the morgue, I don't know. Why he's in the morgue, I don't know. Like, why would you be in the morgue as a grown ass fucking teenager, presumably a young adult, looking for a mom that probably died 15, 20 years ago?
Looking for records, maybe some sort of death certificate, and that could be. I mean,
it just makes for a better story if he's in the morgue looking at dead bodies, right?
Yes, of course.
So he's in there. The morgue, the mortician. What's the guy who does the morgue stuff?
Yeah,
it's not the mortician.
It's a mortician.
Mortician's at the other.
The coroner. No.
Coroner. There it is.
Coroner.
Because the mortician's at the house, right? Not the house, but like
it's the opposite. It's the opposite. The coroner goes out to pick up the body. The mortician is the one that presents the body
before the burial.
Yeah,
but like when you're watching on TV
and all that shit.
But like when you're watching on TV when they're doing like in the X-Files, right? Scully when she's always doing the autopsy. That's not a mortician. Yeah. That's a coroner.
No, because they're not preparing the body. They're just not dissecting. They're autopsy.
So Scully,
they're doing the autopsy.
Scully doubles as a mortician?
No, because the mortician prepares the body for
Scully doubles
the burial.
As a coroner, or just.
But the coroner, I think the coroner just picks up the body and delivers it. I don't think the coroner prepares the body. That's what the mortician does with all the formaldehyde. Dresses the body, puts the makeup on. Fills the body if it needs to be filled, does the facial reconstruction if it needs to be done.
So the guys that work at the home where you actually do the burial, they don't do anything. You're just giving, because the mortician's all, I don't know.
But the mortician's the one preparing and presenting the body.
I'm talking about the big room, that silver, all beds pulled out. Where is that? Is that at the funeral home?
That's at the morgue. Yeah, the morgue is the morgue is connected to the funeral home. Yeah.
Oh, so
but hospitals have morgues too. Most hospitals have morgues for patients who die at the hospital. So usually they don't just sit there.
You go to a funeral, right? And there's that little house thing, and you go there and like, oh, I'll choose that casket, and I'll do this one. There's there's a fuck ton of dead bodies in that place.
Yeah, somewhere. I don't know where, but
that's a hard pass.
In a basement, in the back. I don't know.
I could still be alive, ringing that bell. I don't know. Anyway, that's fucked up.
I think. I never
don't
thought
know. About that.
I don't know.
I don't like it.
That's my understanding. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
I only tolerate dead bodies and those little things because like Scully just makes it look so sexy and perfect because it's Scully, and X-Files is great. And if you don't like X-Files, then you're stupid.
It's true. You are stupid. You don't like X-Files.
But yeah, so he's in the morgue here. I don't know why he's in the morgue, but there's also a small part here where Cygnus just small part here where Cygnus is just kind of like talking to himself. He's reassuring like his drive to find his parents. He's telling himself like, dude, you got to push forward. You got to find them. You got to figure out what happened. This is who you are. This is now like the fabric of your existence is finding out who you are. And I think Cygnus also knows at this point there's something more nefarious with his mom's death, but it's definitely confirmed in one of the verses here when he says like the trails don't lie. He fucking knows. He doesn't know exactly what it is, but he knows some shit fucking stinks. And also, I like when he says he found evidence of the murder, so his wing was clean to the bone. And it reminds me, like, this is when he lost it, right? He's like, oh fuck it, I will stop at nothing to figure out what happened here. It's like his progression into rage and anger, and later on into like murder and who he will question to be. But it reminds me of the scene in X-Men when Angel is a kid and his dad is like, what are you doing in there, Angel? And he's like, nothing. And he opens the door and Angel's got like this fucking pick and he's like stabbing his wings, trying to cut him off.
Trying to cut him off, yeah.
It's like, dude, like that's like Cygnus, man. He's like trying to fucking cut off all like sense of just normalcy. He's like no longer a normal, rational person. He will stop at nothing to figure out what the fuck is going on. And we will find out later on that he's going to want to kill anybody in his path. But he also seemed to have overcome like a drug addiction at some point, or he's become a drug dealer at some point, and that's how he meets the widow. He gives drugs to the widow.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was his own drug addiction that led into the psychosis. Also, some people were, their interpretation of it was prostitution as well. He got heavily into prostitution. So that, and just the deep underbelly of society, that's what he is. That's what he's gotten into, because he's just doesn't know better. He's an orphan, and unfortunately this happens to a lot of people who are orphans.
It's like stuff that like shouldn't exist, and it's kind of wrong for doing it, but you also shouldn't have to die for it. So but yeah, that's where I was Cygnus. And then we're getting to the Facilis Descensus Averni, 3:18 to 8.5 minutes. Do the roll into this. It's fucking so sick. That repetitive blast. I love that shit. That dun 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 dun. It's so fucking cool. And then we get into the turn, like the change up to the quiet part of the song, the instrumental jam, which they'll do again in La Villa. It's kicked off with that bass line, right? And it's just Omar doing his verved up lead parts in the back. It goes on for several minutes and has to kind of find its way back to the meat of the song. But we just get this wild build. It's Cedric shrieking. The guys is doing that loop over and over, and just like the orchestral parts in the back. It's what are you doing here in the middle of a song?
But they're just on this record, especially. Their buildups are incredible. I mean, they'll do a buildup for like 2-3 minutes, and it's not like Tool, where a band like Tool will have a song where it's 8 minutes of just buildup and no payoff. This band will pay it off after 2-3 minutes, and when they pay it off
2-3 songs down the line again,
and they'll pay it off like 3 times within one song. It's just, that's what they do. They know how to build and keep you captivated and wanting more and wanting to listen to it again and again and again, especially when there is a story like this, that, or at least an interpretation of the story. And it's funny because we're talking so much about the story, but then you read more about the recording of the record, and a lot of these were scratch tracks. Like, he was just, when Omar had Cedric come in and sing, he was just singing vocal melodies over parts that Omar told him, sing over this, do this. I'm not going to tell you where it's going to sit in the song, but just fucking sing. And we'll get more into the recording of the record in a bit, but that's really what it was. And then eventually, outside, as things progressed, what was that?
I said we could do it now, because even Juan had said a lot of this stuff was recorded somewhere, and I'm pretty sure Omar just did whatever the fuck he wanted to with his recordings. He put them in random places. He manipulated them the way he wanted. And that's just classic, right? Like, hey, here's the part you're going to play. What's everyone else playing? Don't worry about it. Just play your part, and I'll make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
he took the Miles Davis approach. He was very inspired by Miles Davis, and he made it to where the other members of the band had no idea what they were playing. He was just saying, I want you to play this. Here's the metronome so you can keep in time. Just play what I play. Let's perfect it right now. We'll lay it we'll lay the track down, and then that's it. I'm not going to show you what it is in the context of the song, and that's it. Like that's really how they recorded this record. It took 10 months to record. They recorded it in LA. They recorded it in a couple studios. And Omar and Cedric said that one of the studios, the main studio, was like this rundown warehouse in LA, probably in the Valley, where it's 110 degrees out in the summer. Yeah. The AC barely worked. It was miserable. I think they even showed it on the Mars Volta documentary that came out last year. They talked about it, but I thought it was in the Deloused era, Tremulant era. But anyway, so yeah, it was a weird way of recording it. 10 months to record, like I said, which is honestly the longest amount of time it took them to record a record up until the self-titled record in 22. And yeah, that's really how it was. And there was also tension too, because the only people in the band who liked this style of recording was Juan, the bass player, and John, the drummer. They liked this way because,
of course,
especially John, because John said he eventually did say years later that he liked it because he could get deep with Omar and they could break down like parts, and Omar would say, okay, this is how I want it to be big, grand, blah blah blah. He would give good direction to John, and John could play what was appropriate to it. And then if it, like, a month down the road, it's like, well, maybe we should change it, and then John would come in and then change the part, and apparently they loved it. Ike hated it because Ike's a very improv player, like he's very off the cuff kind of player. That's how he was with De Facto and Free Moral Agents. He was very much that way, and Mars Volta Live, he was like that as well. But it was such a weird way of recording music, especially coming off of Rick Rubin, with DeLaust, and then even Ross Robinson on Relationship of Command with At the Drive-In. Just a completely different way of making a record. So bizarre, but it worked. It made for something spectacular and beautiful.
It did. And like, we're not even at the part of the record where it makes like your jaw drop. We're still in like the, oh, that's pretty fucking good. Like, we're not even there yet to where it's like, holy shit, that's good.
So I mean, Consafo is the ending part of Cygnus. We should get this moving a little bit faster here.
Probably should.
But Consafo,
this ending. Yeah, it's a looped ending, right? Like, we get into the nice little 4-minute tight jam driven by the bass loop. It's fucking dope.
It is.
Too dope.
And then some field recordings that Omar and Cedric took in front of where they used to live with Jeremy, the apartment they used to live with with Jeremy in LA, of people like in the neighborhood, like kids running around screaming, shit like that. So it's a good like kind of homage back to Jeremy. So then we get into The Widow. This song is 5 minutes and 51 seconds long. The shortest song on the record. This is their big single. This actually got radio play. It got video play on MTV2. I don't think on MTV, but on MTV2 for sure. This is my least favorite track on the record.
I mean, it's an easy choice for least favorite track. It's still a good track. It's an easy least favorite though. I do like how it starts off. I think it's very eerie. I think the guitar slowly creeps in, and like we finally get to that huge riff. But we also get some rad bass parts, man. Some long slides, some huge octave jumps. It all adds to like the quiet loud dynamic, which is all over this fucking record. And Omar's got like dope lead guitar parts, and Flea throws in those like cool layered trumpet things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is a single, and it plays like a single, and it feels like a single, and it is a small blemish on an otherwise otherworldly album. And of course, the fucking radio edit cuts out the outro too. Like, god damn.
But do we really need the outro? Off. I mean,
you don't need the outro, but I like. No,
in the context of the record, yes. But I mean,
in the context of the record, yes. As a single, obviously, no.
I mean, the actual meat of the song is only 3 minutes. It's just over 3 minutes long, and then the rest of it is just honestly it's just noise. But
see, the best part of this record for me is it's not. I mean, obviously, like the salsa cumbia shit. That's my favorite part. But also like just the dissonance, the lack of sound, the lack of noise, the lack of melody, the lack of notes. That's when like the reflection of the story of Cygnus takes place. Is when it's just dead air, dead quiet. And we're allowed as a listener to also just empathize with Cygnus. Be like, damn, how would I feel if that was me? Or how does Cygnus feel here? We're filling in the blanks. This must be what reading a book is like. I'm able to I'm able to give a voice to someone that does not actually have a voice, right?
Yes.
So when you read a book, you're giving a voice to someone that doesn't have a voice. Yeah,
yes.
that's it's fucking good, man. I love the silent parts here. I love the dissonance in this fucking record. That's my favorite thing. Favorite thing again.
No, I agree. It builds the story and the characters wonderfully.
It just allows me to do something. It allows my imagination to run wild. It allows my imagination to fill in those blanks. I love it.
Yeah, especially when you listen to this record with cans on. Man, dude, it's a whole nother experience. Like I listened to this with cans on vinyl. I listened to it just on regular speakers. It's just every experience is a little bit different, but the cans is the best. I mean, you could truly hear just the nuances of it all. It's truly a beautiful record. Lyrically on The Widow, though, this is more of like a dedication to Jeremy. I don't have as many as intense notes as you do. I didn't go as deep lyrically as you did.
I did it for both of us.
What?
I did it for both of us. Don't worry.
Well, thank you. But yeah, this is more of a dedication to Jeremy, this song. How much they miss him, and there's a lot of references to the heroin abuse that eventually killed him, that got them to get clean after he died. Like Omar and Cedric were clean from heroin after that. Also, the video for this song, who cares about the video? But apparently the kids in the video, they're chasing after like this chocolate fountain, and the chocolate is supposed to represent like the black tar heroin of just like the obsession, the childhood obsession over something. That was kind of the metaphor here. And if that's true, I do like that a lot. It's dark as fuck, but
I do think the song is dark as fuck. A couple of things. One, the single artwork with like the fucking guy in the tree trunk that's facing downward.
Oh yeah.
That's wild.
I like that. I like that artwork a lot. Was that also Storm Thurkeson?
I don't know if that specifically was. Obviously, the cover art was. That probably was too. But that shit just gives me the creeps, man. That just makes me feel weird and uneasy, and I don't like it. Lyrically, it is about that. If you put it in the context of sequentially on the album, like in the narrative, I think this is from the woman that Cygnus sold drugs to, the widow. Like it comes up from time to time that he just sold drugs to somebody and he feels bad about this. But obviously the underlying thing here is, even though that their friend did drugs, I'm sure they bought it for him from time to time. I'm sure they're around him from time to time. I'm sure they encouraged him to do it if he wanted to do it. I'm sure they supplied it for him. And so I think the widow is very, they feel bad. Like they feel really fucking bad that they were a part of his death and they contributed to his death, even though like it's really not anybody's fault, I guess. It's just really sad. It's a sad fucking song. It just sucks that it was popified.
And when you see like going back to Omar and Cedric and their drug abuse, their heroin abuse, if you look at the right before Delouse came out and during the early era of that record and tour, Cedric looked like shit. Like his eyes were like dark circles under his eyes. He was super fucking, I mean, they were always thin, but I mean, he looked like an addict. Like he was
sticks.
They were, and he just, his face was so like skeletal. It was just very withdrawn. Like he looked bad. He just looked bad. That heroin, as Tammy puts it, the heroin chic. Like what's her name? The model who dated Pete Doherty. What's her name?
Pete Doherty
from the Libertines.
Oh,
what's her name? Kate Moss. Yes, famous model.
Kate Moss tonight.
She like popularized the heroin chic because she always looked so withdrawn. And Tammy always talks about that. She's like, I love the heroin chic. I wish I could be that skinny. Oh, I love the heroin chic. But that's essentially what
the
Cedric
food's so
was.
Good though. Food's so good. You know,
but skinny feels so much better.
I don't know. I feel pretty good after eating a fucking full fucking round table cheese pizza. I don't think cheese pizza is stupid. Pepperoni pizza. Half pepperoni, half sausage, actually.
Yes. Anyway, we can't get too off track here. So
it's true.
Let's get into Lavia. How do you say that second part?
Leviacas.
Leviacas? Okay. Is that what it is?
Leviacas.
So this track is 12 minutes, 21 seconds. This is also a little bit more of a straightforward track. More versus chorus.
Yeah.
That's really how it's set up. A couple like Latin type of interludes, which are really fucking cool. John Theodore's drum tone. This is the most Bonham he has ever sounded in the Mars Volta. Just big, huge, bombastic, big, huge toms that just loud, and his groove is very Bonham as well. The shuffling that he does on this record, the Latin beats, just Theodore kills it on this fucking song. Also, Omar's guitar playing. I love that main riff, that and then just that little scale, and then I fucking
That's good.
I think the guitar playing on here is so simple but it's perfect for what the song asks for. I'm sure you have more on this one.
Dude, there's a lot of stuff here. This is my favorite song. This has my favorite part in it. It has my favorite part in pretty much all of Mars Volta discography. I just want to say the radio edit of this is 5 minutes. So compared to the over 12 minutes that we got here.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, mind
dude.
you, but like
That's
the last
crazy.
like 2.5 minutes is just like that, the little Latin interlude.
Last,
2.5, 3 minutes.
Let's say the last 4 minutes, right? That's still 8 minutes. We still shaved off 3 minutes of this song. Give the and the song, it doesn't like. There's no build here. It fucking starts right up.
Mm-hmm.
It starts right up.
Well, there's like the 45-second build or the 40-second build of just kind of noise, and then it drops into the main song.
But it's very guitar driven noise, and that's
it is.
The song is guitar driven. It's the first like 2 solos are for Shante, right?
They are, yeah.
And they're
guitar in those 2 solos.
So like just regarding his solos, they both sound that's like Frusciante, right?
Yes.
You listen to any Chili Pepper stuff that Frusciante's on, like, oh yeah, that sounds like fucking John.
Not only
Frusciante.
that, but you hear the first 2 solos on this song, and then you hear the solos after it on this song, and you hear the difference in quality between Frusciante and Omar, he's not a real guitar player.
He has a unique style that's unique to him.
Yeah, but he's not a guitar player. You know
he's
what
not
I mean?
a guitar player.
And when you hear Frusciante do those solos, and you're like, this is fucking incredible. And then you hear Omar just doing this weird, wonky, doesn't really make much sense. Still works in the context of the song, but it just doesn't make sense. And you're like, okay, it's jarringly different from John to Omar. And I honestly, I feel that's one reason why Amputexture is so great is because John Frusciante plays guitar on pretty much that whole record. And the guitar playing on Amputexture is fucking incredible.
But what I liked about Frusciante solos is the first one is just self-indulgent. It's fine. It's great. It's a fucking killer solo. The second one, he slows it down. He dumbs it down. He dumbs it down for Omar. He's playing his traditional style, but he also really incorporates like the wildness of the Mars Volta to blend into that bridge. So he uses a lot of like weird fucking notes. Right, it's not. If he's playing like the pentatonic, he'll throw in some fucking weird note that doesn't make any sense. That sounds weird because Omar does that shit a lot. He plays kind of sloppy a lot of times. Frusciante does that in that second solo, which is a cool transition to like, okay, dude, I set you up, don't let me down. And I don't think Omar does. I think Omar, and we'll go back because I want to start from the beginning and go back to it because Omar does do a really good job on the song in its entirety. But yeah, going back, first solos are Frusciante. I think the groove here is fucking easy to get into. Everybody finds like that beat so naturally, so fast, so nicely. When we get to the second solo again by Frusciante, we're already like full on, right? We've already got that first like dun, 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 dun thing going on. For me, I've said it, like my favorite parts is the parts that come after those 3 notes. The doom, 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 doom. Boom,
and then
like
the big Latin beat, yeah.
It's just like that's just like a straight like salsa jam. That's a cumbia. Just fucking just get on the floor. Everyone's jamming to it. Heavy piano. I know you like piano, but I know you love this shit. I know you love this shit.
It works in the context of these songs because
this guy is amazing.
Ike was.
This isn't Ike though. This is Larry Harlow.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Larry Harlow. Puerto Rican piano player, yeah,
dude. The guy's the first
Omar
piano player because he was the first fucking piano player in the Fania All Stars, like the super group that's been going on for 50 years. He's huge. He helped Cecilia Cruz like have like a resurgence to popularity, and also like that part of the song too is a complete. I don't want to call it a rip off because the Mars Volta doesn't rip off. They take from things they pay homage to. But it's essentially a sample of one of Larry Harlow's songs, called what the fuck, Lamento de Guajiro. Lamento de Guajiro, that's what it was called. It's like 1970 or some shit. Same fucking song. That doom doom doom. And then everything after that, that's a Larry Harlow song.
Yeah.
But then they just add their guitars on top of it, so it's fucking cool. It's fucking dope. I like it. And the bridge, dude. The bridge here is fantastic. I love Cedric's lyrics. I love his melody. I think it's easy to get into. Later on, we essentially just get into like a jam sesh with Larry and Omar. But then Omar adds his own style on. This is what I love about Omar. Because he doesn't give a fuck, dude. This is my band. I'm gonna do what I want, right? We have this guy that's played with the biggest names in all of like music history. This guy knows how to jam, Larry Harlow. And I'm gonna be Omar over it
too.
And I'm gonna be Omar over it. I'm not gonna get better at the guitar. I'm not gonna play what you think I'm gonna play. I'm just gonna play fucking like At the Drive-In riffs over this shit. I'm gonna play like Metronome Arthritis over this shit, and that's what he fucking does, dude. And it sounds
incredible. It sounds.
This is
incredible.
the most.
Like, it doesn't make like it shouldn't make sense, but because it's so
doesn't make
it's so out of left field for somebody who's as accomplished as Larry Harlow is. It just it just works
so
surprisingly well.
Stupid. It's so stupid. It's so fucking dumb in every way, shape, or form. But my God, because Omar has full conviction, it works. It works.
And not only that, I read maybe several years ago, I read that during a Mars Volta show, shortly after Francis came out, they were, I don't remember where they were playing at, maybe Florida or something, like Miami or something. And Larry Harlow came to the show, and he came out and played this song with them. And Cedric and Omar said, this is single-handedly the greatest thing that's ever happened in our career. Like, this is the greatest that Larry Harlow played with us on stage.
Just musicians being musicians.
That's fucking nuts. That's wild.
You know, like, I don't know.
Right.
Like the coolest musicians who actually, like, take their music seriously, you always ask them, like what's the coolest thing you've ever done? It's not like, oh, selling out Wembley or not, like, doing this or whatever. It's like, dude, I played with this guy one time. You know what I mean? Like how many musicians do you hear say that kind of shit? Like true musicians who love their art.
Yeah.
Like we talk about our fucking text thread where like Napalm Death is opening up for like Primus, and like Les probably love that shit because Napalm Death is fucking wild. And it's like, damn, that's cool. Good.
So lyrically, La Via, this is kind of where we get the aunt in the story, Cygnus's aunt, Francis's sister, and Miranda's daughter, who witnessed a lot of what happened from the clergymen, from the priests in the church, the rape of Francis that led to the rape of Francis, which led to the birth of Cygnus being abandoned, and now Cygnus going back and trying to seek his revenge, and also all the fucked up shit that's happened to him in his life. But this is kind of like this is almost like the not the daydream back to what happened originally, but this is the what am I trying to think? Not daydream, but the what's the term? The
what is not a daydream?
No, not a daydream, but just like something like in a story where you just kind of go back in time to dude, why am I so blanking on this right now?
Yeah, okay, I can
fill in the blanks.
Tell you what I read.
Fill in the blanks.
This obviously is about Livia and witnessing the death of Francis. She was Francis' sister, the aunt of Cygnus, or the daughter of Miranda. So I like to give them all names and do the family tree because it helps me figure out or keep track of who they are in the family tree style. Livia changed her last name to Villachez to hide from the church. She has to stay on the run because she thinks the church wants to murder her to cover up the yada yada yada. Who cares? But she's eventually blackmailed into keeping quiet, and I think the song is about Cygnus finding her and then finding like just more atrocities that were given to those 25 missing women of the church. And the last part of the song with the cookie frogs from Puerto Rico, right? I think that's I saw people say, "Oh, that's Cygnus going to Puerto Rico now," and that was the iconicness of the frogs. But I think that's more just it's a passage of time, right? Like whenever we hear animals in movies, or like you see like a shot of like the birds flying away, it's just to show a passage of time. I don't think I agree with the specific coqui frogs of Puerto Rico. Oh, Cygnus traveled to Puerto Rico. I think it's just a passage of time.
I think
where
also
Cygnus has finally found some part of his family member.
using those frogs specifically, I think is just an homage to, because Omar went to Puerto Rico to go record Larry Harlow's parts. They recorded that in Puerto Rico, and I think it was just kind of like, trying to keep the song very Puerto Rican, because Omar is Puerto Rican. He was born, partially raised in Puerto Rico before he moved to
American.
No, you're right. He was American, but his parents are from Puerto Rico, and he grew up in
still American.
He is still American, but he has the Puerto Rican roots.
Puerto Rican's still American.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no.
It's 100% yes. We own Puerto Rico. That's why. I mean, I just say it because it's so funny.
Their territory.
It's just so funny that people hate Bad Bunny so much for the Super Bowl halftime show. Like, he's not fucking American. It's, well, actually,
yes and no. But where was? Oh yeah. So I think the throwback to the frogs is more just like, it was because Larry Harlow was on this song specifically. And just like being in Puerto Rico with those frogs at night, going to sleep with those frogs, and just kind of like, just the I guess homage to Puerto Rico. That's what the frogs were for. And what I was talking about earlier was flashback. When I was trying to figure out like
flashback.
I don't know why I had such a hard time with that. It was the ants. Was her flashback to, when Francis was raped, murdered, and all the blackmailing and all of that happened. That's what I was trying to refer to earlier.
You ever play that game where like you put a thing on your head and it says like, I don't know, picnic, and you have to describe picnic without saying the word picnic?
Yes.
Like, how would you describe flashback, right? Like, you think that's hard, huh?
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I think we're a little toasty right now, so we're having a more difficult time with it. But
but describing flashback's tough, right? Like, it's a thing you think about, but like it happened earlier on, but it did, like, how the fuck would you think about?
It's true, yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, I get it, yeah.
So like even though flashback's an easy thing to understand, your description of it wasn't too stupid. I think it was. I think
stupid.
yeah,
just mostly stupid, but not too stupid.
Yeah, I think you're warranted in not being able to articulate the flashback word.
Okay, all right.
We have 2 songs left.
Yeah, we have 2 songs left. Let's get
songs,
in.
But
let's. All right, so let's get into Miranda. That ghost just isn't holy anymore. This track it's a bit long. It's 13 minutes and 5 seconds long. Also, fun little fact about this song: it was actually originally written and demoed even before Deloused came out. So this is an old track.
It's an oldie
track.
goodie.
Primarily an acoustic song. A lot of field recordings of birds and some shit like that. A lot of soundscapes, some trumpet. But it's generally a very, very subdued song, and I think it adds to the lyrics of, because I feel like this song is from the perspective of Miranda, who is Cygnus's grandmother and Francis's mother, and her knowing what happened with the church and the clergymen, the priests, and how they raped and killed Francis, and they blackmailed not only the aunt, Francis's sister, but also Miranda too, the grandmother. Livia, as well as Miranda. They blackmailed both of them, and into keeping quiet and all of that. And that's what this song is. It's a very somber, depressing song, and how she wants to come out and just expose what happened and all that, but she can't do it. She's been threatened and all that kind of shit.
And she's too old. Like, she can't do anything.
Yeah.
She knows it. That's the whole, like, the ghost isn't holy anymore. Like, her ghost doesn't exist because she's too old and she's gonna die soon. But yeah, anyway, it's spread into 4 parts, right? The first part, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Do you have 4 parts? I have 4 parts.
I got 3. I have 3.
3 parts. Okay, I have 4 parts. It's Vade Mecum is the first part. Pour Another Ice Pick Baby, that's the second part. Pisasis, that's third part, and then Consafo is the 4th part. Do you not have 4? How do you not have fucking 4 parts?
I actually didn't look at that. When it comes to Miranda,
Gotcha.
I didn't look at that breakdown. This is the only song I didn't look at the breakdown.
Gotcha. So Vade Mecum, that's the 0 to off the opening to 4.5 minutes. Essentially just the intro, just noise that leads up to the next part. But this also kind of shows that Cygnus has like ventured to Puerto Rico, if you want to say that, or just he ventured to find Miranda, seemingly in search of somebody in his family, and he finds her. So the intro is just like introducing them to each other, and that the music kind of like coincides with it. There's not a whole lot going on that first 4 minutes.
Yeah,
The next part, the
field
pour
recordings, like
there's not a whole lot of stuff going on there. So like you can just interpolate that however you like literally however you want, right? Because it's so fucking ambiguous. The second part, the 4.5 minute mark to the 9 minute mark, this is like Miranda and Cygnus are talking, and Miranda's telling her story, and everything, and Cygnus is like, holy fuck, this is even worse than I thought it was. And so musically, super verbed up guitars, Cedric's vocals like drives this thing forward. It's all build. The orchestral parts that comes in are fucking phenomenal. Just adds more mood, more depth. At about the 7:30-ish mark, we get like most of the band come in with that quick riff, but only just to immediately taper off and let the song explore more kind of like the dark, muddled area of dissonance. Again, the quiet parts, the lack of melody, the lack of music. Like the song itself just stacks its chips in a way that we just get really cool fucking heavy parts, and just it keeps piling on, and we're just like, come on, drop.
Yeah.
And I love the fucking build, man. I love how it just gets me going. It just keeps me and you know, like hooks me. I'm done.
And even like the one drop that there is in the song, it's very, very short lived. I think it's only like 45 seconds.
That's it.
And then that's all you. But it's
right back at it.
But then it's back into like the string section, the soundscapes, and then eventually toward the end, which I think you'll get into in the next part too, is like you hear like Cygnus, the acoustic part, the acoustic guitar part of Cygnus plays out the end of this Miranda song.
Yeah.
But yeah, once again, it's
two more parts. The Pisces, the Fra and Ma, whatever it is, the 9 minutes to 11.5 minutes. This part like musically seems to play into like the realization for Cygnus that his horrible birth and his death of his mother. But I see it because we hear like the trumpet thing. I see it as like this dark fucking song with this one shred of light like coming through. And Flea has a lot to say in the trumpet on this record.
He does,
because it's not
especially
just background noise. It's not background noise, right?
This is the best part of the trumpet on the entire record.
And it's because this song is so fucking sad, dude. Cygnus is just like, and when I say Cygnus, it could just be like, dude, the song just sounds sad. Like I just feel fucking
very
sad.
Melancholy. It's very melancholy.
You feel depressed, but when that trumpet bleeds through, and the trumpet's usually kind of like, you know, like Louis Armstrong and shit. It's kind of like he's more upbeat and like, oh, trumpet's fucking cool, do 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 do, like Nardwuar's kind of shit. And so when Flea plays it here, it's just this fucking just melancholic, sad, dark, somber song. But you get this little ray of light coming through, and that's like Flea's trumpet, which is just so fucking cool. Like this dark, this tonally sad song, and this weird shed of light coming through, and that's the trumpet. But I think that's this one like shed of light that Cygnus has, that he's still a real boy, that he's still a real person until he's completely lost himself in the darkness. And then the outro, I guess the last minute and a half or whatever it is, that's truly the end of Cygnus as we know him. And in the earlier part, that was Cygnus reflecting on his findings in himself. Here it's just the same. He just has more information on it, and we get that same kind of like what do you call it, the coda. You go back to something earlier in the record. A lot of the same loops, or a lot of the same beats, a lot of the same riffs are kind of being thrown around. So
yeah. And then are we good with Miranda then?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the major song, the magnum opus, some might say,
almost half of the record
of the Mars Volta is Cassandra Gemini. This song is 32 minutes and 32 seconds long. Various websites, even the major streaming sites, break this down into various parts. I think I have 6 parts on this one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 parts. I think there's only 5 parts.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we have Cassandra Gemini, the actual.
That's the
Cassandra
song.
Gemini. Yeah, and then we have Tarantism.
That's part 1.
We have Plant a Nail in the Navel Stream.
Part 2.
We have Famine Pulse.
That's part 3, which is essentially 60-70% of the song.
And then we have
multiple spouse wounds.
And then multiple spouse wounds. and then
What the fuck you see
Sarcophagus.
Pasaphis shit for? I just know fucking
Pasap-
Pasaphis.
Did I fuck that one up?
I don't have no Pacific, so.
Well, anyway,
fucking-
we'll just run through it. We'll just run through it. We've been good with this already.
Yeah.
This is also the track where Adrian Terrazas Gonzalez comes in. He plays flute on this song, and he plays a lot of saxophone on this song. This is a guy who obviously played on the record as a session guy, but he also joined the band. I wouldn't say as an official member. Well, I guess as an official member, he started touring with the band on the Francis the Mute tour, and he added a lot to the songs. Like even going back to the
so
Delau,
fucking much.
the Delau songs. If you go back and watch stuff from this tour and onward when he was in the band, he added stuff to fucking shit that was never on the records, and it was just incredible. And Adrian is so incredible, and I feel he was unfairly fired from the band after, or just before Octahedron, he was fired from the band, and he had a lot of issues. He was very outspoken against Omar, saying like he was owed royalties for this and that, and he was unfairly fired from the band and whatever it is. He had a lot of unsavory things to say about Omar after the fact. Even to this day, like every once in a while, because I follow him on Instagram, and every once in a while he'll mention something about Omar being a really shady person, and no wonder nobody likes to work with Omar, or nobody works with Omar for very long before realizing how shitty of a person he is. So, I mean, it's kind of, Omar has a really bad track record. Omar and Cedric do.
I mean, like with big geniuses, musical geniuses. That's not unheard of, right?
It's
that
not. Yeah,
it happens more often
Brian
than
Wilson.
not. I mean, Brian Wilson was a different. I don't want to get into that. It's going to make me mad, and I'm going to talk about it for an hour and a half. So we'll stick to this. Cassandra Gemini, yes, the last song, the opus, as some people would say. It's hard to argue against it. It's kind of funny too, because I read another thing too that Cedric had said during one of the big orchestral parts. One of the classically trained musicians they hired to play one of the bow parts, he had broken his bow.
Yeah. And
he was all pissed off about it, and said, like, dude, that's so fucking badass. That's awesome. Which I agree. I think that's fucking cool. Like, you played so hard in Prague that you broke your bow. And I think that's cool. Like what were you doing? Like, what were you playing so hard for? Like, nothing in this record actually goes that hard to where you should be breaking your bow. But I thought it was just cool. A cool story to throw out there. So I did.
Yeah. And the guy was just pissed because it was some like really, really expensive like violin that he was playing or whatever it was. It was
I'm
super
sure the
expensive.
bow was probably like a $500 bow or some shit.
No, it was probably more. There was probably like thousands and thousands of dollars.
He's all pissed
and he
off.
fucking broke it for some rock band rather than, a classical piece. And he's like, well, that's like the coolest thing ever. Like this guy came in here as like a session dude, and he broke.
They
his bow
paid
and he
him
was
probably
super pissed.
fucking nothing too.
Yeah, probably nothing. Well, because come on, really, like who listens to classical music anymore? Chamber music.
I think like the big money's in classical music. I think you can like.
Is it though?
I talked to the Beakers record guy about classical, and
he does know
some of the stuff he told me. He like if you know how to play violin, like you're better off whoring yourself out to like classical orchestras and stuff like that rather than studio shit because the money's there. Okay. It's not good money, but it's money.
Better money.
You take the money.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Hey Arnold,
if you got the talent for it, go for it.
Yeah. So Tarantism. I think that's the first part. That's literally just the opening here for the first 45 seconds. But listening to this shit on streaming, this scares me every fucking time when it comes in, because like coming off of Cassandra, the last the last part of it, it drops in and it's truly like, welcome back to SN Radio. Like it jolts me like this. Plant a Nail, that's when like the song kind of like everything kind of truly starts, and that goes into like the 5-minute mark. This is wild. It's driven by a lot of bombastic drums, a lot of wild drum parts. Like this is the wild part that sets up basically the meat of this song.
So we mentioned like some of the differences in how we broke up the notes in Cassandra. So I based my notes off of what was on Spotify. So how it was broken down on Spotify. So I did that.
Spotify's tough. Because I think what
I think it's
Spotify
different
did.
It was different from Genius.
I think what Spotify did was it broke it up based on song length, right? Because
yeah, that makes sense.
In Genius, for instance, Famine Pulse goes from 4.5 minutes to 22 minutes. That's a fucking album almost, right?
Yeah.
So I think what Spotify did was Spotify just broke the songs up into like more palpable 4 to 7 minute periods.
And that's what I broke down.
Yeah. So I'm not.
So
saying
these are
like,
all essentially.
Not saying you're wrong.
These are all different songs for me.
Yeah.
That's how I broke it down.
Hey, but like, I'm not saying you're wrong, but had you broken it up into the Genius lyrics breakdown, it would have made more sense. Like the parts make more sense.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. It's not possible. I'm telling you that they do make more sense. So I guess in the first 5 minutes, all that really matters is essentially 5 minute mark and then beyond. Famine Pulse starts at on the Genius. It starts at 4:45, and it's that first like big guitar solo that kicks off.
Yes.
Like, so like the underlying groove is quick. It's fucking ridiculous. Omar lets loose in so many ways. It's not just like the fast noodling, but there's also so much wah. There's so much distortion. And in the fifth verse, like Omar just fucking slaying the hammer-ons and pull-offs. And this is like the only time on the record that he shreds. That he's like, hey, I'm a guitar player. Like when Billy Joel fucking shreds, like, oh damn, dude, you are a really good guitar player. This is the only time on the record where you think like, dude, Omar's still a really good guitar player.
I know.
Not like the best, but he's still a good guitar player.
And you kind of forget on this record too how good of a guitar player he is, because for most of the record he's pretty subdued outside of like the couple Frusciante solos on La Via. Even on Cygnus, he doesn't go that crazy. Like there's a solid
never goes hard.
Solid lead line, some cool little winky solos here and there, but he doesn't fucking go crazy until you hit Cassandra. Now, when you watch what really made me like fall in love with the band again in like the mid 2000s was when YouTube first came out in 06, 07. I remember going onto YouTube and people started posting, and also on this was going on the Comatorium, or the Coma for short. People were posting videos that they were hosting, and you could watch videos of them playing Cygnus in its entirety. Now, Cygnus, that song is only 12 minutes, but they would jam on like every song they would jam on, and there's this famous performance. I believe it was at Electric Ballroom, where they extended Cygnus to like 26 minutes, something like that, and they just jammed. And Omar's just fucking going. He's going all fucking gnarly on it. And that's one of the great things about this band was the live stuff, like very Grateful Dead, but to the extreme. Because Grateful Dead they have some great jams, and I will agree with you on that. I'm getting more into the Grateful Dead as we've gone over, you and I personally, over the last few weeks. I'm getting more into the Grateful Dead. We're talking like vinyl territory, getting into the Grateful Dead. But the way the Mars Volta plays live, and I wish there were more solid bootlegs. There's a lot of good bootlegs, but like true solid sandboard bootlegs of this era, the 2005 era of the Mars Volta was peak. Like there was nothing better than this, and the jams and all of that shit. And even going to when I saw the Mars Volta for the first time in 2008, January of 2008, on my birthday, literally in like what is that? 18 years next week, I saw Mars Volta for the first time. Played over 3 hours. All the songs were they were all songs, but they jams.
3 hours is wild.
It was it was the greatest show I've ever been to, and I don't think I'll ever experience anything like that. But the jamming, within all the songs that they played, was fucking unreal when you look at that set list. But that's what they were. They were at the time between 04 and 08. This band they were the perfect jam band. There was nobody better than the Mars Volta. The way that they just weaved in and out of these songs and jammed and all that kind of shit. Cassandra Gemini is amazing and perfect, but it's the live stuff that you really have to watch to understand how great the band is and how great Omar is. Not technically as a guitar player, but as a songwriter. God, Omar is just so incredible. I love Omar.
I mean, that's to be understood with bands, I mean, I guess the Dead and like Fish and like jam bands are the exception to it, but like prog music in general, it's understood that like these guys, maybe not like really trained or well trained musicians, but just understand where they want to go with music. And like, yeah, like Crimson live and Floyd live and Jethro Tull live, like, it's better than the studio stuffs. They're allowed to just do what they want to do, and there's no label interference, and they can be themselves and explore things that they can't do on record. And I think there's something to be said about just the live format of this type of music, especially when it comes to prog. So I get it. I get why it would be more, especially in this area, it'd be more fun to see the Mars Volta live. And it's not more fun to see them live, but it's hard to articulate how great it was to see them live versus how great this is. Like, I love this. I think this is fucking.
Yeah, I'm not
perfect record.
I'm not discounting this. I'm not discounting this at all.
I can't imagine what it would be to see like them play live in this era, right? Like that would blow my fucking mind. Because what I like about this, they would do the same live, just extrapolate. They build on it. Insane. You know what I mean? Like, and I get it.
Another great thing that is so amazing about the Mars Volta like fan base and community is with the Comatorium and what eventually became, I think it was like maybe 2009, 2010, the Marble Shrine became a website. The Marble Shrine, it's still up right now, and it's one of the greatest websites ever. And it's fan driven, and it's a catalog of every single show the Mars Volta have ever played, from Chain Reaction up until this last tour on Lucro Sucio. And if people have video, if people have pictures, audio recordings, it's all uploaded onto the Marble Shrine. It's all cataloged beautifully, and
so it's the Comatorium, but just rebuilding after the downfall.
It's the Comatorium without the forum part, without like the comments. It's the Comatorium without the comments, and all categorized. You didn't go on the Marble Shrine at all,
dude.
Did you not go on the Marble Shrine?
So like when I was sending you all those pictures of them playing at the
that was from the Marble Shrine.
Yeah, it was all from the Marble Shrine, but I didn't notice it was from the Marble Shrine until you just said it right now.
Yeah, so that's the end all be all, and it all has all the de facto shows on that website. It has all the anti-mask, all that. It has most of the At the Drive-In, but it's hard to catalog a lot of early At the Drive-In because it was so early on. But most things that were Omar Cedric related, Bosnian Rainbows, the solo stuff, Zavala's, it's all on the Marble Shrine and cataloged so well. And it's maintained up until this day. And that's what I love about this fan base, and I love about this band so much, that we're talking like Grateful Dead level cataloging, but all on the internet. Like, I think even better than Grateful Dead cataloging.
I mean, like, obviously, if you mention the Grateful Dead, I'm going to go off on a tangent here.
Okay.
So this is Grateful Dead level, but better, yes, because it exists. Like, dude, the Grateful Dead shit is it's also so cataloged through just vinyl, through online forums, through just the Grateful Dead website, for a band that existed 50 years ago. You know what I mean? Like that's wild. So,
but also for a band that was a lot more popular than the Mars Volta. And also the difference is the Mars Volta started in 2001, essentially, and everything's been cataloged so well since 2001, all online. None of it's ever really been lost outside of the Comatorium, but that was all just like comments and shit like that. But when it comes to actually cataloging things, the Marble Shrine is the end-all be-all for any band. I think that website is, there's no band that has that kind of cataloging. Unless you're like Taylor Swift or some shit like that, where
even then nobody.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
I see those texts that came out. Taylor Swift texting Blake Lively and calling that Justin guy a bitch, and now everyone's mad at Taylor Swift.
No, I did not see that. Chronically online.
That's cheese, man. We don't even talk about.
But anyway,
we're almost done, dude. Let's get through Cassandra.
I know. Let's get through Cassandra. I know. I feel like we should talk about this song more. Like, we should get more in depth.
I'm halfway through my notes here.
Okay, well, let me just say this to you about Cassandra.
Say this too.
This is a 32-minute song.
32-minute song.
We can go. Okay, here's the verse, the chorus, this part, blah 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 blah, and we're just gonna say a lot of the same shit musically and all that.
I didn't do that.
Okay, but that's just one aspect of it. So let's get more into the lyrics, because the lyrics really kind of dictate where this song goes. And I know you have a lot of notes with the lyrics. I think there's a lot that's not discussed, but a lot talked about in the song.
I do want to bring it back a little bit, because there's a part in the song when Cedric says, "Let it burn."
Mm-hmm.
Let it burn, let it burn. But the way he says the last "let it burn," he does this tongue thing.
Does he?
and it sounds like this. Like that. That's what it sounds like.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Every time.
Really does sound like
every
that.
fucking time I go, I do. It's so fucking obnoxious. And then later on, he does that slurp thing in the burial of your home. He goes like that. Oh, dude, he's wild. But either way.
I never thought of it that way, but that's good. That's really good.
Deep groove shit here. Theodore's putting in some fucking serious work throughout this song.
Oh,
the 25 wives part, dude, fucking rad. Cedric and Juan just get to groove with each other, while everyone else just makes complete fucking noise. It's so good. And the main riff that bridges the 25 wives part is really cool. Like the whole band basically gets to get behind this main riff, while Juan and John keep that same groove going from the earlier parts, right? The whole Coda thing again, this 25-minute epic or 30-minute epic that we have here. It's just cool that like Juan kind of like he's always part of like the big groove.
Yeah.
Even though like a lot of his parts drive this song forward, it's always like Juan and John or like Juan and Cedric. Like it's always Juan and somebody kind of like pushing this song forward. It's never Omar. He's doing whatever the fuck he wants. And the next part, multiple spouse wounds, that starts at like the 22-minute mark. That's kicked off by the bass and that. So like the way I could think about it was Cliff Burton's Anesthesia tone, right? That the way that sounds.
Metallica.
Yeah, from the Metallica's that Morley fuzz wah pedal. That's what this sounds like. That bass tone. I was like, damn, that's fucking cool.
I get that.
And
I get that.
And I'm pretty sure it's the same fucking, maybe not the exact same pedal. I know Skip won't fucking know, actually. Will tell us exactly what it is. But that's what it sounds like to me. But this is the part of the song that brings like everything back down to a crawl. Just a lot of noise, a lot of noodling, a lot of space. But the synths never really stops. And we talked about earlier, right? Where the synth is everything, like a lot of space is just taken up by the synth. And I know you love the synth from Enema of the State days. I
love the organ, not the synth. I love the organ.
It's the same fucking thing.
And also, Ike loves the organ.
You think you'd bring out a big organ there? Nah, it's just a
Ike loves the organ. He loves the organ. And you hear it so much on this song and so much throughout their records as well. Well, not organ, the state or the college. No, I'm talking about the organ, the piano. The piano. Also... let me just go before you continue on. Let's go back to Juan and John, the bassist and the drummer.
Juan and John.
What I love about
that'd be a cool side project.
Juan and John.
Yeah, Juan and John.
Did they ever do anything together? They did one show together where it was just them two and they jammed for like an hour. And there's a video of it. And it's actually really cool. It was from like 2009. It was around the time that John Theodore was doing the thing with Zach De La Roca, the One Day as a Lion. It was during that time, and they played behind some warehouse in like a parking lot, just John and Juan, and they were just jamming for like an hour. There's really cool video on YouTube of it.
Because it's easy for us to like just praise like John's chops, right? It's easy because you can hear it.
So incredible.
But Juan's really fucking good too.
Yes.
Dude. Like Juan has a firm grasp on what it means to groove. He understands what that means, and he understands underrated.
Grooves. And he's got incredible chops. I mean, okay, so if you don't know who Juan Alderete is, his claim to fame prior to the Mars Volta was the band Racer X, a popular band in the 80s, kind of like a speed metal, kind of metal thrash band. And I don't really care for their music, but if you ever go back and watch videos of Juan playing with Racer X with his big fucking poofy hair, dude, he's insane. He's an insanely good bass player. And then you drop him into
videos, But can
You
you,
didn't watch
tell that
anything?
he's already better than like those guys in that band?
Oh, well, I mean,
Is
Racer
that one of
X,
those things?
But no, Racer X was like one of those super groups. It was Juan, and I think it was who's one of those like guitar virtuosos. It was you know the name if you heard it. Hold on. I cannot remember the guitar player's name, but you know it. I know you know it. Fuck. I don't want fucking motocross. Fuck you.
Ooh. Travis Pastrana?
No, it's not Travis Pastrana.
That'd be crazy.
Paul Gilbert. It was Paul Gilbert. Juan.
Paul Gilbert, baby.
Yeah.
Mr. Big.
Yes, Paul Gilbert, Juan, and there was like a famous drummer too, but I can't remember. But anyway, no, this is like this crazy fucking metal group in the 80s, and if you watch those videos of Juan playing, it's just incredible. And then once again, going into the groove, he played with Deltron. He's played with a lot of hip hop. Juan has played with a lot of hip hop over the years, and up until his accident, at least. But what I also love about Juan with the Mars Volta is like he'll hold down a groove just like a bass line. Whether it doesn't even have to be a complicated bass line. He'll just hold it down for 6 or 7 minutes and just let everybody groove around him. He'll lock in with the drummer, whether it's John or it's D'Antoni or even Pridgeon sometimes. He'll just lock in with them and just do whatever he's doing, and then Omar will just fucking wail over it and fuck around, and Juan will just keep going, just never fucking stops. He knows how to play to a song, and he knows how to jam. He's a perfect jam bass player. I love Juan. I think he's not talked about enough. He's not talked about enough
because he's not allowed to do. He's not allowed to like really fill out his shoes.
Yeah,
and I think that's something to be said about Omar. Is Omar surrounds himself with people that are just better than him, straight up, and that's what you want to aspire to be a musician, right? If you want to be a better guitar player, find yourself a band that everyone is better than you at, and that's what Omar does. He surrounds himself with like just great fucking musicians all the fucking time.
But the most important thing.
But his vision is like Brian Wilson-esque. Like Omar's vision is like Brian Wilson. He understands like what he wants to achieve. He just doesn't know that he can do it. He can do it on his own. Therefore, he hires people that are so much better than him, and then he does it.
But it's not just anybody. It's the rhythm section. Omar knows the rhythm section, and he knows if he has a great bassist and especially a great drummer, it's going to take him. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. If a drummer can play along to you, then Omar's set. That's why Omar has had some of the greatest drummers of all time in his bands. I mean, hands down. I mean, John Theodore, D'Antoni Parks, and Thomas Pridgeon. You could argue those three drummers wildly different from anybody, but he said all three of them in his band, all within a 10-year span, and made incredible music with all three drummers. It's insane.
This fucking kid who can't even barely play the guitar from El Paso.
He can't read music.
You know what I mean?
It's like the guy's a
sings
schmuck
for
from
shit.
Yes.
Can't write lyrics. Can barely write fucking music, but can write like compositions.
It's remarkable. And that's one of like the charms of Omar, and that's what makes him so great too. Is like he's not this musician's musician. He's not your graduated from Berkeley. I know everything about music theory and all that kind of shit. I love it. And another thing. So I would also kind of compare him to, maybe I'm going off on a little bit of a rant here, but I don't care.
Rant
I would also
baby.
kind of compare him to like Sonny Moore or Skrillex. Skrillex comes from the hardcore background, new metal background. He loves all that shit. And then all of a sudden he jumps into the electronic music scene. He turns that upside down. He didn't technically create, dubstep, but he popularized dubstep because he knows rhythm. He knows drumming. He knows how things work outside of electronica. And he throws that into it. He throws it into the melting pot, pop music, rock music, metal music into electronica, and it made something spectacular in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And now we have Skrillex today. Like Skrillex is one of those guys, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, but he just loves it so much. He just throws everything into it. And that's kind of how Omar is too. He kind of doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He has a lot of inspirations. He loves a lot of things. He throws it all in. And it's incredible. He finds
so
great musicians.
Fucking true, dude.
I love it. I fucking love it.
Especially in Cassandra when he's just like noodling and you just get like those deep beats too, where it's just like Juan and John again just going at it, and almost you know what I mean? Like none of it's bad.
No,
but it's always like, oh, dude, like, can you just stop playing for a second? But like, they wouldn't be there together if it wasn't for Omar. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
like, okay, we can't have an entire hour and a half like album with just those two guys going at it. We need like other layers. We need like nuance. We need story. We need something. And that's where like Cedric comes into play. I feel like this is getting into the wrap up here, but I do want to go more into the last part of Cassandra and the last part of the Cygnus lore before I get into the wrap up.
Can I say one more thing about Omar, which I love?
Two more things
about Omar.
There better be two more things.
I love Omar to death. He's one of my favorite guitar players, one of my favorite musicians. I love it. But what I was going to say was that he's done multiple interviews where he's talked about Led Zeppelin and how much he loves Led Zeppelin. But he's always said that his favorite part was the rhythm section, and he's always said how much better that band would be without Jimmy Page. He said if they didn't have Jimmy Page, the band would be just on top of the world. They would have been significantly better had it not been for Jimmy Page. And that just kind of goes to show. They would have been
on top of the world that they were already on top of?
That they were on top of. But it just goes to show like he's more of a rhythm guy, and that's why he finds rhythm players. And also comparing him to like even, let's say, Tom DeLonge. I don't care if people bitch about this, but Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, he knows how to find good drummers. Travis Barker, arguably, you can't deny Travis Barker.
Don't you even fucking say Scott Rayner.
I was going to, but then I'd stop myself. So you got Travis Barker.
Barf that
you have
out.
Travis Barker. You have Adam Willard, incredible fucking drummer.
He's a fantastic drummer.
Yeah, and then you have Elon Rubin, who's like this prodigy drummer. Now he plays with the Foo Fighters, unfortunately. But he's literally like a prodigy drummer. Like Tom DeLonge understands rhythm. He understands like drumming and rhythm is literally the most important part of any song. I don't care what anybody says. If you have a bad rhythm section, if you have a bad beat, if you cannot keep in time, the song's gonna suck. It's gonna fall apart.
Well, rhythm isn't just like drums too. Like rhythm also like it's heavily relied upon like the bass and.
True, but that's part of the rhythm section.
Tom DeLonge thing, like Tom DeLonge knows good rhythm, and Mark, for what he's all of his faults.
Mark is the least talented, or he's the least important part of Blink-182. Not on Dude Ranch. He's the most important part on Dude Ranch.
No,
but
dude.
Every
Travis
other
is the
Blink
least,
record.
No, that's silly boy talk.
Every other Blink record, it's Tom.
The least important or the most important?
The most important outside of Dude Ranch, the most important member is Tom. On Dude Ranch, the most important member is Mark.
But Mark is not the least important member of Blink-182.
Outside of Dude Ranch, yes, he is.
Mark is the least important part of Enema of the State.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I believe so. But we're not going to get into this Blink rabbit hole.
You don't. Yeah.
We're not going to get into this Blink rabbit hole.
Dude. So I'm waking up for a third time already. That's feisty talk.
So
right?
Let's kind of get it back into Cassandra. I know people who love the Mars Volta are still listening. They're probably like, "What the fuck are you fucking talking about? You're a fucking idiot."
These fucking guys.
But yeah, Cassandra
you didn't
Gemini.
talk about any of the fucking time signatures or anything. Fuck you,
all
dude.
Who cares?
Shut up.
Yeah, and Cassandra Gemini is just such a incredible. It's arguably it could be put down as like one of the greatest prog songs of all time. I would honestly say that. That's where Cassandra Gemini is.
We'll see what happens next week with King Crimson. So
that's true.
We'll see what happens.
Well, spoilers. Oh shit!
For the true heads that have listened this long.
So lyrically, Cassandra Gemini. This kind of wraps it all up. This is my understanding of this song and the lyrics is that he's taking his revenge on his mother and all that kind of stuff and the corruption of the Catholic Church, and it's either his revenge on that or a giant drug fueled daydream of it. That's really what it comes down to, and him killing various members of the clergy and his regret of doing this and all of that. But then in the end, it could have all just been a giant dream. Who knows? We because he's become such an addict, and I don't know. That's my vague overview of Cassandra. But what do you have?
Who is Cassandra?
I don't know. Like Cassandra might be like, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know who Cassandra could be. I really don't know.
Here's what I got.
Okay, what do you got?
Because I enjoyed this stupid fucking shit. Like it's so dude, it's so dumb. Reading lyrics from a guy who's not a lyric man.
Yes.
And from a guy who says yes to you and then no to you, but then we'll also go back and say no to you and then yes to you.
Yes. Okay. I understand.
So here's what I got. Cassandra Gemini. It's this alter ego of Cygnus. Gemini meaning twin, right? The Greek or whatever the fuck it's from. Gemini means twin. This alter ego, maybe even this schizophrenic side piece that he has created or that has been manifesting inside himself for so long. I don't know. There's so much to decipher here. That's what I think. But I also think it's killing him. I think it's killing Cygnus as we know him. I think the song explores like the descent complete into madness, his grapple with himself, being a killer, and thus being the same as those who killed his mom. He's like, fuck, man, if I kill all these people, I'm just like them, right? And that's sad. That's weird. That's kind of this cyclical nature of the thing where I become the bad person that I hated so much. He's coming to terms with how pitiful and inconsequential his life is. And that's in the your life was just a lie part of the song. And here's where it gets like super dark. And here's what let's like the cherry on the cake, and like let's loop it back in and let's do it again because it's so fucked. Like ultimately, the quest of Cygnus did absolutely nothing for him. He found nothing. No one gets punished. It's an act of complete futility. It's a waste of time. It left him with more questions than answers, and he will die the same way he was born, a nobody with nothing.
Yes.
Loop it back into the fucking Francis the Mute single, baby.
And also, this could go into this overarching loop of let's just say this whole story of the church turning on his mother and all that kind of stuff. And or raping the mother. He's the little illegitimate child, and the family disowns Cygnus after she dies and all that kind of stuff. But what if this is all due to drugs and how fucked up Francis was? Maybe Francis was this fucked up, like not fucked up, but just this drug addicted person who had a child. Whether it's illegitimate or not, that doesn't make a difference. But let's say she had a child, she gave it up for adoption, or she died during childbirth. Let's just say she died during childbirth, but the baby grew up, or the baby was born as a drug baby, so going through the withdrawals. And when that happens, they tend to grow up to be addicts. I mean, that's just of
course,
that's what happens
statistical
a lot
facts.
of the time. Yes, so that's what happens. So Cygnus grows up, becomes this addicted person, a person who's addicted to drugs and various sex and various other things. He tries to reconnect with his biological family. They want nothing to do with him because the family want to completely disown themselves from her, because she was such an outcast from the family. They disown her, so they automatically disown him. That throws him into some sort of psychosis, schizophrenic psychosis or something like that. Leads him into a deeper cycle of drugs and all of that. He gets paranoid. He thinks, oh my God, this isn't my family. My family is normal, but it's the church that's making. So he makes up this whole scenario in his mind from this drug schizophrenic thing that goes on, paranoid schizophrenic thing that goes on, and thinks, I'm not the bad one. My mom, Frances, wasn't the bad one. It's the church that's bad, blah, blah, blah. And then he takes revenge on the church or whatever, the clergy, or he has a drug fueled, think something about it where he kills people in the church. And then it just loops and loops and loops and loops. And it's just this constant, just literal mental breakdown of Cygnus over and over again. So this is another thing where the lyrics can be taken so many different ways. Cedric has never come out and said, this is what it's about, blah, blah, blah. This is what it's inspired by. The song is inspired by the diary and supposedly the diary of Jeremy and the person that he found the diary of, all that kind of shit. But it could be taken in so many different ways. So it could be taken more literally. It could be taken more, as just a giant drug-fueled paranoid schizophrenic way who fucking knows at this point?
And
I
like
don't know.
realistically, this is about their friend that died of a heroin overdose.
Yeah, it was inspired by Jeremy.
And it's just them like going through the motions. And like you said, it could be about anything so long as it's the downfall of somebody on drugs.
Yes.
And so realistically, this is about their friend from the beginning to end about drugs who found it and just couldn't fight it and died. And it's sad as fuck. And at the very end, there's no happy ending here. There's nothing. You're left with just sadness. And dude, the ending of Cassandra, like musically, is fucking
acoustic.
sad, dude.
Yeah, that just acoustic
It's
thing.
fucked. It is. It is
really,
not. And all like on vinyls too, all the locked grooves, right? Where it just goes
So
on
many.
and on and on forever. Like that's even. I don't know, dude. It's a fucked up record. It's sad.
It is. It truly
It's a sad
is.
record. Which like I love reading about the lore and like, the sickness thing. That's cool and all, but ultimately, like, dude, they're just really fucking sad. Their boy died.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're really, really sad, and they obviously feel guilty.
Yeah, and
they
then
won't
you
say
watch. Did you watch the documentary from last year?
I didn't get a link to it, so no.
Skip and I both sent it to you. Fuck off.
Did you
we
really?
Both, yes, we both sent it to you. You
I
had a
don't know
link.
about that.
You
I don't know
100%
about that.
had a link.
I'm sure that guy will fucking scour the group chat to make sure that he sent it.
You 100% had an opportunity to watch that documentary.
Uh,
But the documentary talks about Omar and Jeremy's Jeremy, about their relationship and how close they were. Like, it was more than just a friendship. It was like a romantic thing as well. Like they were romantically connected. Omar and Jeremy were, and that's also what inspired this record, and the emotional impact of this record as well was that romantic part of their relationship. Yeah, no, it's just it's tragic on one end of it, but it's like, you know, addiction is awful. It's truly awful. But I mean, if you don't want to change it, I don't know. I have my own opinions on addiction. I know people I love that have been addicted to things, and it's like, man, if you don't want to,
I think like everybody's had somebody that's
yeah,
gone through the fucking ringer, if not till the end, right? Like that's how
yeah. We could all relate.
that's how
We could at least-
rampant it is.
we can at least all relate to this, but when it comes to like sympathy or empathy,
Yeah,
it's like we can only
Empathy,
take it so
yeah.
far. Like,
Yeah.
or it could be both. It could be
It's
sympathy
both.
or
It
empathy.
could be both. It could be both.
But it's like we can only take it so far when a lot of people have experienced the same thing. You know, so I don't know. Anyway, let's so did we talk about the artwork? We didn't. I don't think we talked about it too much, right?
just Storm again. I like the artwork
Storm
a lot. I think it's
Thorgerson.
fucking dope.
Yeah.
I think it coincides with the idea of like Francis the Mute, right? Where maybe it's Francis and Cygnus passing each other in the cars, but not being able to see each other because of the cloak of society or drugs or whatever the fuck it is. It's just it's always just thought provoking when you see somebody blindfolded, just
Yes.
straight up.
Yeah, and if you don't know Storm Thorgerson, he was part of the Hypnosis group, the group and Storm, especially Storm. I think Storm is like the most famous person
The
of
most
the group.
famous at all of them, yeah, for sure.
And they did almost all the Pink Floyd records. And Storm has been a part of, I mean, I would say hundreds and hundreds of famous pieces of art, like album artwork, you know, music artwork, all that kind of stuff. I can guarantee you everybody's seen at least probably 20 or 30 of Storm's, you know, pieces of art. And this is just one of them. I mean, I think he was incredible. It's thought provoking. Most of his art is very, very thought provoking.
What's
it.
funny is like we don't really care about visual art,
Not
right?
too
In the
much.
way a lot of people do. But when I see like stuff Hypnosis did, almost like every single thing I've ever seen Hypnosis do, I'm like, damn, that's good.
It's a little
Like,
bit unsettling.
that's cool, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like everything this dude touches, I'm like, damn, that's fucking good.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know art, but I know that's fucking dope.
Agreed. Agreed.
Like Banksy too. Banksy's a guy too that if it's actual Banksy, it's stuff that I'm like, damn, that's fucking cool.
I'm indifferent to Banksy, but whatever. What do you gotta do? All right, so I think that's all we have for Francis the Mute. I mean, if we didn't do it justice, who gives a fuck? We spent almost 2 hours on this shit, or over 2 hours with the album rankings. We love the Mars Volta. You and I both love the Mars Volta. So that leads into our final thoughts on this record, and then we'll rate the record based off of our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So what do you got? Go.
Yeah, I obviously this is a perfect 3 for me. I love this record. I think every part of this record is great. I think the parts of this record that are just quiet and filled with silence in the void, I think those are purposeful. I think this is an amazing prog record in a time when prog was just kind of for the nerds. This is prog for like the everyman. And like, yeah, Ambitexture is like their probably magnum opus when it comes to prog records.
Yes.
This is a more proggy deloused. This is their second most proggy record, I guess. I don't know. I don't fucking know, dude. I like this record a lot. It's cool. Mars Volta's dope. 3 out of 3. I love this. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Fuck it. I'll give it a 3 out of 3. I don't do that often, obviously. So I give it a perfect 3 out of 3 for me. I think this is one of the most incredible prog records ever made. From the production down to the songwriting to the builds and just everything about this record is just like to think in 2005 when prog was so prevalent in the 70s, when you could argue that the 70s was the high of prog, like that was the peak of prog.
Oh, it absolutely was.
And then in 2005 you get this and you're like, what the fuck? Like this, honestly, this blows almost if not everything out of the water when it comes to the 70s. Like there's this has everything you want in the 70s, but to a more intense degree. That's really what it is. And of its time too. I mean, in the 70s you have a lot of the, in prog you have a lot of the Renaissance shit. You have a lot of the classic rock stuff, which is very of its time, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But by the time you get to 2005, you have punk introduced into the world. You have hardcore introduced into the world. You have metal. You have nu metal. You have alt rock. You have grunge. You have so many different elements that are thrown into what prog rock is within the Mars Volta, that it's almost like an unfair advantage to prog bands of the 1970s.
It's true.
There's so much more to draw on when it comes to Francis the Mute or more the Mars Volta in general than there was, let's say, King Crimson or Rush or Genesis, Yes, ELP. There's just so much more to draw from. I wouldn't say
Ambitexture is better than anything Pink Floyd ever did. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I would agree. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. Ambitexture is the greatest prog record ever made. I stand by that. I stand by that.
We have one more prog record next week, so
we do. Yes, we do.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, I give Francis the Mute a perfect 3 out of 3. I think this is just truly incredible. It stands on its own. Nothing will ever truly compare to Francis the Mute. Nothing will ever truly sound like Francis the Mute. No matter how anybody tried, there have been bands shortly after this record came out that tried to be Francis the Mute, and they were good. Atlas of ID, I'm going to throw that name out there. They were a band that tried to sound like the Mars Volta and tried to sound like Francis the Mute. It was cool. It was very cool, but it was clearly Francis the Mute light. That's really what that Atlas of ID record was. True Volta fans know what that is. I know you know what that is because I've thrown it at you before. But yeah, Atlas of ID, which became Children of Nova. They eventually became that band because they were ridiculed so bad for being bad. They were ridiculed so bad for being a Mars Volta cover band that they changed the name to Children of Nova. And it was so bad that Atlas of ID came out with a record, and everybody thought, even on the Comatorium, a lot of people thought that record was the new Mars Volta record. That's how similar it sounded to Ambitexture. So they thought it was the new Mars Volta record before Bedlam came out. And then eventually they were so embarrassed by what they did that they changed their name to Children of Nova and kind of changed their style a little bit. But anyway.
There's like nobody, dude. Like there was like I'm just trying to think in my mind where I think like Coheed came out and like Apollo 4 was around this era of Francis or Deloused or whatever the fuck it was.
Roughly, yeah.
But like what other big prog band was really doing stuff like this? They hadn't already been doing it for like Tool had already been doing it for a decade prior to this, right? So like, what new band was doing a sound like this and pushing that envelope forward?
Not in 05. Even like early 2000s, nobody really was.
Yeah.
Even Tool, like even looking at Tool, they up until 2006 they only put out 4 records.
Yeah, but Ladder Alice was early 2000s, and that's. I don't know. Whatever the fuck people.
That was like 2001. I think it was 2001. Yeah, 10,000 Days was 06.
Who gives a fuck about Tool?
But what I'm saying is, like, even with Tool, they weren't coming out with a consistent amount of records over a short amount of time.
Yeah, for sure.
That was the point. So I don't know. Anyway, who cares? Let's get the fuck out of here.
That's it.
Thank you all for listening.
Three's all around, baby.
Yeah, 3's all around. Perfect album. Thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube, you smash that subscribe button. That's what the kids say, dude. And we're going to finish up Prog season next week with a great band. So thank you all for listening, and that's it. That's all.